Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you're doing well. So today I want us to have a conversation of things that are troubling my mind as a farmer, as a gardener, and as someone who works with smallholder farmers in Kenya. So there are two pieces of legislation in Kenya right now that are really troubling me. One of them is the Seed and Plant Varieties Act of 2012, and the other one is a bill that is coming to Parliament, which is the Agricultural Professionals Registration and Licensing Bill. I hope I got that right. So these two laws, these two pieces of legislation are going to affect us as farmers. And I don't know whether you as a farmer or someone who is concerned as an agriculturist or someone whose parents are farmers or relatives are farmers is concerned about these things. So for one, I am wondering whether when these pieces of legislation were made, whether farmers were really consulted or whose interests were taken into consideration when these laws were made. Let's look at the seed law. The seed law states that a farmer cannot share or sell planting materials. So that means you can't share your organic seeds, you can't share your indigenous seeds. And we all know that these indigenous seeds have been passed down to us from generations with no end. Like I know there's a bean variety which I plant. My grandmother passed it to my mom passed it to me. I have moved with it from Meru County, across all those counties to Kajiado County, where I'm planting that bean. So right now, I cannot give it to you as a fellow farmer. Probably I can't even pass it down to my children because it's illegal. Does that make sense to you? It doesn't to me. So the other thing is you will need to license and register your planting materials for you to be able to share them. So what this does then is that it disempowers smallholder farmers who do not have the capacity to register their planting materials. Me included, I do not really have the capacity to register my seeds, to register all my planting materials, whether it's cuttings or whatever I'm planting or sharing with other farmers, which is a practice. We practice a lot with the farmer group where I belong. We do all seed fairs and exchange seeds, share seeds. I can no longer do that. They can no longer do that. They face an up to 2-year jail term or a fine of up to 1 million shillings if they are found to be doing that. These laws affect us as farmers. The question is, who do they benefit? Who benefits from this law? If you have an idea of how this law could benefit anyone as a farmer, please let me know. But what I know is that these laws benefit the big corporations. And these laws are not really about protecting anyone because they argue that these laws protect you from getting fake seeds. Probably that's the approach they are taking. But to me, these laws look like control. They look like compartmentalizing the seed. Like I have to buy the seed from someone. I cannot plant my own seed in the next season. Now, when I buy the seed, I do not have any guarantee that this seed can do well in my garden. If you watch my previous video of how the floods affected our garden, you will realize that the indigenous seeds did very well. Our beans, our amaranth, our managu, our sunflowers, because they are seeds that have been passed down over time. They are seeds that know the environment. They are used to the environment. They'll do well. They adapt to the environment. But the others, which I had bought seedlings, actually, they all died. So what does that tell you? You do not have control of what you plant in your garden or in your farm. That's one. Two, you can no longer plant the seeds that are well acclimatized to your garden or your farm. You have to buy new seeds every time. You have no guarantee that these seeds will do well in your environment. Well, they say that they do testing, but who tests seeds all over all the different microenvironments we have in our country? Nobody. Curry will test seeds for different places, but they can't test for all the places. And then even if they do, you have to buy them. Not many farmers have the capacity to buy seeds. And then I also don't see why I need to spend money to buy seeds when I can save seeds and plant them and they do better. So this is something as farmers we need to really take concern about. The Greenpeace Africa is having a petition which they're asking us to sign. It's been forwarded in all my farmer groups. I've posted it on my Facebook group. If you follow me on Facebook, please help us by signing that petition. We want to tell the government to quash this law. It's not helpful to us. And remember, in Kenya, up to 90% of all the food that we eat, even the food that you consume, is grown by smallholder farmers. We always say agriculture is our backbone as an economy. But then we are not supporting this backbone because up to 70% of Kenyans are farmers. They earn their living from growing food and selling food. Even if it's small, it makes a big contribution to the economy. It makes a big contribution to the income of those farmers. But if we allow these laws to continue, we are going to disempower these farmers. We are also going to destroy our soil, because now our soil will not be doing very well, and our plants will not be doing very well. So we're not going to harvest as much as we've been harvesting. This is a concern of mine, and I hope it's also a concern of yours. I'm also going to post the link in the comments, so please follow the link and sign the petition. Let's ask the government to quash this law. So that's the law number 1. The second law is the Agricultural Practitioners Registration and Licensing Bill. Now this is very interesting. What this law says is that you cannot practice agriculture and you cannot act as an agricultural professional if you're not licensed and registered. And for you to be licensed and registered, you have to go to an agricultural school which is approved by the board. So you ask yourself, which schools are these? How many farmers know about this? As I already said, as a farmer and as a gardener, I rely so much on knowledge exchange from other farmers. I go to the farmers group, we exchange knowledge, we teach each other, and that is going to be illegal. You are not allowed to practice that if you do not have a license, if you are not registered. Now that's ridiculous, because how many of our farmers are able to go to school and learn? And then that's 1. 2, what do we do with all the knowledge that is passed down informally without having to go to school, which is actually very beneficial knowledge, which is very important to all of us. You might think that because you live in town, you just buy your food, you don't farm, this thing does not affect you. This thing affects you because 1, remember, we always say food is critical. If it's not nutritious, if it's not safe and sufficient, it's not food. Then what that means is that if your food is going to be affected, you're going to be affected. You eat 3 times or 4 times a day, your food is going to be affected by this law, because then your farmers are not going to be able to access knowledge or information from other farmers. Knowledge sharing is going to be literally sold. It's going to be regulated. So if I go to, because we meet every Friday as farmers, if I go there and share something that has worked in my farm, I could be arrested because of sharing knowledge, and I'm not licensed. By the way, I know so many very knowledgeable farmers who have never been to an agricultural school. So many of them. Some of them are HR practitioners, some of them are school teachers, some of them are actually medical doctors, and they have never been to an agricultural school. But because they have followed indigenous knowledge, they have practiced these things, most of these things are experienced. Like for me, I've never been to an agricultural school. So most of the things I teach and most of the things I practice, I have learned through many years of seeing what my grandmother was doing, seeing what my mom was doing, and applying it in my garden, picking what works, changing what doesn't work. And then you're telling me, when this thing passes, it's gonna be illegal for me to do that. Does it make sense to you? I don't know. Please go to the comments and let me know what you think. When this bill comes to Parliament, they are going to ask for our views. So I and another group of farmers, we've planned to file and compile our views and present them when this comes up. So please, if you have any view, if you have something you want to say to the government according, concerning these laws, please go to the comments and you can comment, or you can ask for contacts where you can send your views. Then we are going to compile them and present them to Parliament. Probably this government might pass it like it's doing with so many laws, but at least we will have put our voice forward. We will have made our voice heard. So let's not keep quiet. I think one of the things that really worried me when I saw these laws is, why is nobody talking about them, and why is nobody raising a concern about these laws? Why is everyone quiet? Are we already very tired about our own lives? Are we very tired about our children's heritage? Because even if it doesn't affect us right now, with time it's going to affect our children and other generations. You see, when they started talking about climate change and how destroying our environment is going to affect us, we didn't see it immediately. But if you live in Kenya today, you can attest that climate change is real. Places that never used to flood are now flooded. Places that never used to be affected by the rains are totally affected. Because of why? We never took care of our environment. We built buildings close to the rivers, we've destroyed our rivers, we've diverted our rivers, and it's coming back to bite us. Remember, nature does not forgive. Nature always fights back, and nature always wins. So let's be on the right side of history by making our voices heard. And this video is one of the ways that I've made my voice heard. I hope you are now more interested in going and finding out what these bills say. I'm going to post in the comments the links to the bills and the act, so you can read and make a contribution. Let's engage in the comments. If there's something you would like to talk about, let's talk, let's have a conversation, let's keep the conversation going. Go to your social media, let's keep the conversation going. Follow me, follow other farmers who are making noise about this, follow Greenpeace Africa, and let's make our voices heard. Thank you so much for watching this video, and always remember, if you have a vision, add some passion. I'll see you in the next one.